You know what they say, if it tastes like fish, it's probably a shitty Taiwanese horror movie. Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Jimmy Houston, and this is my review of the tag-along Devilfish. I haven't seen the first two tag-along movies, though I think they played in cinemas here in Hong Kong. After watching Devilfish, I'm pretty certain I'm not going to watch them either, because Devilfish is a prequel, which I only found out after the fact. Maybe that's why someone early in the film makes reference to the old saying, and then doesn't tell us what the old saying is. Which reminds me of the old saying. See? The promotion for this movie claims that it's based on a true horror incident in Taiwan. No, it's not. Unless, urban legends are now considered true. In which case, Richard Gere and Rod Stewart need to see doctors immediately. Good God, how did we get here? Who cares? The tag-along Devilfish is a mess. A reasonable person might think that a fish would be central to the story. There's a fish in the title, and the movie starts with fish, and the fish shows up a few times. But the fish doesn't really figure in the story. I mean, other than the cheapest, easiest way to move the story forward when it needs to. Now, in fairness, the fish does serve as a kind of organic stupidity detector. Why go to all the trouble to trap a demon in a fish and then fry the fish which supposedly traps it for eternity if you're just gonna have one of your lackeys throw it in a garbage can on the curb? Or if you're a student making a short film about the supernatural and you save a small fish from death after it pops out of the big fried one, why not actually talk about it for the rest of the movie? And when I say it, I mean either the fish that you saved or the movie that you made about the supernatural, which the fish would appear to be. And I know that sex ed in Taiwan is probably a little behind the curve, but the fried fish gives birth to another fish from the wrong end. But, that's the general level of intelligence for this entire film. Now, look, you can't spell scare without care. And this movie does neither. I couldn't care about any of these people or stories, and I certainly wasn't scared, even though the film not only tried to scare me, but told me when it was going to do it. I didn't even care about the fish. But I got the feeling that the people who made the tag-along Devilfish didn't really care either. There's a number of stories in this movie that are connected by, I don't know, probably just the jump scares. Which in turn are all connected by whatever you call those scenes where you know that there's going to be a jump scare, it just hasn't showed up yet. There's a ton of those. And there's also a lot of, horror faces. There's also lots of acting. Maybe even too much. I understand why actors get excited about these kinds of roles, even if it is just a horror movie. The actors get to be intense and moody and really commit to their character so they can talk about it in the press about how their family was worried because they began to act so strange. And they don't even break character between takes as they sit there and moodily contemplate what to say when they win that Best Acting award. I guess I'm just not the kind of person to get scared by horror movies, even the true ones. Maybe if this movie wasn't shot so friggin' dark, I'd have been able to see something that scared me. I was seated all the way over against the wall in the cinema, so maybe that's what made it excessively dark. But the movie was also excessively crap. More than once, I actually wanted to just get up and walk out of the screening, because I just couldn't care about what was going on in the movie, which at 113 minutes gave me a lot to not care about. But I didn't leave because I'm a professional and it's what I do. And my reward for not letting the movie drive me away at any point during its very long running time, was several more instances of things that were so confusing and or cringeworthy that I realized I not only shouldn't but couldn't be proud of staying. I really should be ashamed of myself for not leaving. I was lucky enough to attend the gala premiere of this film in Causeway Bay. The best part of this movie was seeing Gigi Leung at the premiere. Nice tickets, though. I think it's pretty obvious I didn't enjoy this movie, but neither did anybody else that I watched it with. If you enjoy Taiwanese horror movies, that's your right, and you should enjoy them, but I don't, and I didn't. And it's a shame because, you know, I could tell that some of the people in the movie had obviously worked really hard, and I think they deserved a better end product than this. But if you want to watch the movie, go ahead. It's probably a lot of fun as a date film. I mean, how would I know? And if you don't see it in cinemas, if you do want to watch it, pay for the privilege because, you know, that's how it works. And as long as I'm talking about money, please click on my Patreon page because for just $1 a month, I could probably afford to visit that witch doctor and have this curse lifted that's damned my family for generations. I know I'm not Taiwanese, but never mind. If you enjoyed this review, please let me know. And if you didn't, let me know. If you enjoyed the channel, subscribe.